Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, we're live on YouTube right now.
It's amazing. It's the first time in a long time that a regular episode has gone live. We have Kate in here, Mark, Heather, Pam, Christy, Ken. It's so exciting. Hi, everyone.
We stopped because of COVID when we had to, me and Chemda had to leave our studio, record from our place, and it is a to-do to get people's equipment working sometimes. We didn't know when we'd decide to do it. Last week, we said, you know what? Let's tease, tell people next week we have a big surprise. That'll be this. And then Mike Cannon's internet goes out 17 times. So this is that was some timing that kind of fucked with my head.
Right. I know. And in my head, I'm like, Keith, give the people what they want to see. Don't you always see when people are taping their special? Don't you always see the final taping, you personally, because you know that that's when they're going to be in their cuckoo head, sort of, in their like, fuck it, I already recorded it. We can let loose. We can respond to audience a little more. They have it in the bank. So I feel like, if you listen to Keith and the Girl, sure. But, maybe we have a false start. Maybe catch that on YouTube. I don't mind.
I wonder, you know what? I have the poll already for today. And it's, would you rather see the fuck-ups of people's internet going in or out? Maybe I leave, Chemda just has to wing it, and then I come back. Or would you rather see a polished show?
And let's make this for podcasts, right? Because TV shows and stuff, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I don't need what we do in the shadows fucking up their lines and giving it another take. I'm just saying regular talking.
Oh, there was a show, I forget. There was a sitcom a while ago, like a couple decades ago, that I guess their numbers were tanking. They were doing well for a while. And then they thought, we have this great idea. We're going to do the sitcom live. And I don't know if they understand that, like, when we watch sitcoms as people, it's not art. And I know that this is your art. And I know that, acting is absolutely an art. There's art behind everything that you do. But the fact that you're live, unless we're like, we get to be in theater and whatever, this is just us, did I do that? No, take it again. Did I do that? No, take it. I don't know if we need all of that. But for podcast, I think it's a good poll.
Well, we have put our videos on YouTube as we go, as is. And you might notice I always wear a tan, grayish tank top.
Right, you're wearing a different shirt.
I got him from Kyle's gym. I stole him. Well, today's such a big day. I'm wearing red.
Wow.
I have 4 other options coming at you live. So stay tuned.
You're gonna have a wardrobe change?
Not today, but
okay.
Next show, totally new color. Totally new color. Place your bets. Now, we have to do this. We have to do a COVID update. By the way, we think, hey, when will we be back in a studio? Chemda happens to have COVID now. The numbers keep going up and down and coming back. I know everybody's living their lives like there's no pandemic, but Chemda has an autoimmune disease, so we don't know, and that's where we're at right now, everybody.
We don't know so much that Xerxes has tested negative every single time. He's on his ass more than I am right now. He's felt just as shitty as I am. COVID tests come out negative, and for me, they come out positive. So maybe this test doesn't take whatever strain he has, or I don't know. So it could be that people are testing negative and still have it. I think it's still dangerous out there. And I will tell you this. I got the extra booster and all of that stuff because of my immune system. I think I would have absolutely been in the hospital if it wasn't for these vaccines. On Saturday, I thought I was getting better every day. And then on Saturday, I woke up at 2 a.m. By the time Xerxes woke up in the morning, all he had to do was go, "How you doing?" You know what? This is not okay. And I lost my mind because at that point, you're up, you're like, how does this, you're foggy, you're falling, you don't know how to take care of it. I'm trying. I took a shower, let's change clothes. Let's do better.
You even took a shower. Your studio's in your house and you still took a shower. Like, you're trying everything to get better, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to do, because you're just kind of like on your ass, sick. And it was harder to breathe. And I'm just like, when do you call the doctor? When do you go to the hospital? And I'm just crying. I'm just like, you know what? I thought I was getting better. This is going to be forever. It feels like forever. No, it's not forever. And it's just pouring out. And he's like, okay. And once another human being is involved, I think sometimes it becomes better, even though they can't do anything for you. We actually smoked weed. I ate, and things started getting a little better. I took a little Tylenol. You start kind of like scaling back and relaxing. And since then, I actually have been getting better. But this shit is so scary. We are not ready to be in person.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I have COVID. You want to be around me?
Let's talk about the big news stories, shall we? First of all, Mega Millions. There is a winner of the $1,337,000,000 jackpot, but people don't know who it is yet. It wasn't claimed. Also, it was in Illinois, and you don't have to say it's you. Would you keep it a secret if you won over $1 billion?
We talked about this. First of all, did you play? We played.
No, no. I'm waiting until everybody gives up and it's only 20 million.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see that. Then you have like somewhat of a bigger chance or
I
something.
don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Does that make sense? It
Yeah,
feels
I
it.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know because
But you
yeah,
get your numbers or you don't.
I think we're right about like, hey, if it's 20 million as opposed to literally 1 billion, that means less people have a stake in it. So
Right.
odds are a little bit better. But then
Yes.
you're like, why'd my number get called and it's only 20 million? Then you
Mm,
actually, for a split second, you have that thought, even though you regret it as soon as you have that thought because you know you're being a dickhead.
right.
But there is that. We played, even though every time I buy a lotto ticket, I feel like a sucker. I think like the guy at the bodega is like, another one of you people. Good luck, a dollar and a dream. Because in my bodega, everyone's hanging out, drinking beer out of like, brown bags. And it's like
Right.
it's like a club on Friday night with like, what do you call those crates that they're sitting at? Some people
Hmm.
bring chairs. There's like, it's so intense. It's like they actually put a club outside of the bodega. And I think the bodega guy is just like, uh-huh. He knows he doesn't have to have anything on his shelves. This is the guy who has mini teddy bears like it's a carnival that are dusted out, like maybe a card or two, like all the little desperate, I spent all the money on lotto tickets, but I did buy you a bear type shit. So
Right.
anyway, we're buying there. There's lots of shame around it, but I'm like, well, who will be shamed when I win, And of course, as soon as we win, we're allotting people money. We already did the math,
Wow.
but
Who you giving? Who you giving?
well, there's, Keith and the girl has to do something, so we got to figure out something between
Nice.
us. and
Nice.
and my brothers, of course,
Hmm.
and Xerxes has a kid, and we both don't speak to our parents, but they're getting some. I don't know. You
Yeah,
ever do that math?
I
Like
did.
you're not talking to
Yesterday
your
I did.
parents? Yeah.
Yesterday I did before I knew there was a winner, and I'm thinking I'll give each of my siblings 2 million, and then wonder for the rest of my life if they would have done the same.
Of course they would have. Of course.
They
Of
better.
course.
They
Yeah.
better.
It does feel weird. Like, also, do you really want to be the billionaire amongst your regular fan? Hey guys,
Right.
we should go on a 2-week cruise. Yeah, Keith, you're the only one that can afford that. So unless, you can't have the same kind of fun, you got to pay for fun from now on, right?
I'll pay for the cruise, but I don't know where everybody's flying out to.
Well, okay, I'll pay for the cruise, but you guys have to buy your own all you can drink bracelets.
If they miss their airplane, their flight, they have to pay for their new one themselves, right? I'm not made of money.
You are actually made of money. Yeah, that's actually made of
I'll be
money.
like, if it was your money, you would have showed up early at the airport. I'm gonna spend 20 million on therapy. How about that?
Oh, you would be one of those people who does consequence things like, yes, private jet, but if you miss the private jet, you owe me $25 on principal,
Yes, cash, not Venmo.
not Venmo. Wow,
I don't
hard,
remember
hard.
what my name is. Don't make it be work. I'm a billionaire. I don't work anymore. Come on now. Uh, I used to wonder these, at least in New York City, these places that have the lotto. It is, crumb bums are in there, wall to wall, and it's
It's
like, why
sad.
do you put up with this, But they get a cut, the establishment if they win. The place that gave out this lotto, the Mega Millions, got $50,000.
That's not really that much. I imagine they also get a piece of the lotto.
They
I
don't, not in this case.
not every dollar or $2 they get something. They don't make
I only know the Mega Millions.
Oh, because it seems like some bodegas are only flying on the lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're surprised when you buy a soda. You ever notice that?
Yeah. Yeah. I asked for milk and they're like, there's a Trader Joe's down the block. I'm like, dude, I'm right here.
And
You
you have it.
you do have it. He's like, yeah, no, we don't sell it. All right. Can I have a
Uh,
coffee? Light on coffee?
but yeah, so it resets today at $20 million, the Mega Millions. But seriously, in this economy, what am I going to do with that?
Oh, so much. But are you, would you tell people?
It'd be.
I think you can hide 20 million, not a billion.
It'd be.
Because look at you. What are you going to buy that will show me? Like, you buy stupid shit all the time that's like outside of your means. People are just going to be like, oh, look at Keith mismanaging his money again.
Right. If you see
Yeah.
me with sleeves, you see I changed.
Yeah, you know what? If you're wearing sleeves, it means you had a t-shirt specially made for your armpits to breathe, even though they have sleeves on them.
Yes.
So we know by that. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
mesh, but you can't tell.
yeah. Right.
Yeah. Here's a disgusting story. Republican Pennsylvania Representative Glenn Thompson.
Wait, can I just say really quick that
Yes.
Bashley is writing KTG is always on my lotto winnings list. That's
Aw.
so sweet. And you know what? I've thought of that also for if we win the lotto, we spend like a day here and again on Kickstarter, just going like, you get a Kickstarter, you get a Kickstarter, and just like support artists and make their day sort of thing. How fun would that be? Anyway,
I'm going to
thanks
make
for
a
keeping
list
us.
of everybody on our first YouTube back that's here right now. You each get $1 million if I win over $1 billion. How about that?
Oh,
Done.
that's good. That's good. I'll go in
Done.
with that. I'll go in with that. If it's me who wins, you each get $1 million today.
All right. But you had to have left a comment. It's the only way I'll know.
Yeah, I don't know how to figure it out.
Pennsylvania Representative Glenn Thompson joined GOP colleagues last week in voting against the bill that would reinforce the legal right to same-sex marriage in the United States. I didn't know you had to say stuff like this nowadays. So I don't know where you guys stand that are listening when it comes to same-sex marriage. Keith and the girl are for it.
What are we even talking about?
3 days later, Thompson and his wife attended their gay son's wedding with full support of the marriage.
Wait, and to be clear, they voted against
Yes.
same sex.
Yes.
See, I know my parents would also. I absolutely know they would secretly because they like to believe like out loud that they're, these unbiased, totally unprejudiced people, but they would vote against it. And then
Yeah.
what? And then what?
I think I have a gay brother. I think at least there's easily another sibling of mine that would vote no to gay marriage, thinking what's wrong with the civil union? The marriage is a religious thing,
Oh, I see.
and
But then
God's against gay marriage.
but you, that same brother should know that Jesus or whatever God, it does not like the church and the synagogue, they don't acknowledge your wedding or your marriage lawfully. They don't give a shit about that. That's what Mormons are doing. They're not lawfully getting married. They're God law getting married. So I don't know why anyone would have an issue with it. Don't worry about it.
Too late. They already voted. So
Right, yeah, sure.
Nice try.
You got to commit.
the House of Representatives passed the Respect for Marriage Act with
Oh my
a
God.
267 to 157 vote on July 19th, with 47 Republicans joining Democrats in support of the legislation. The bill, which will now go to the Senate, codifies the right to marriage for people regardless of sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin. I can't believe it took me till I was 48 years old to learn certain words, you know? The way, like, it takes a war for me to know where a country is. It took until 2022 to learn there's a word called codify, and it means, no, you don't really have the right to have your abortion protected. No, you don't really have the right to be gay married. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know there were 17 more steps.
And what did you just read? You say it again.
I'm just saying that this bill is going to go to the Senate, and that they're just talking about what the bill is called. The bill is called Respect for Marriage Act. Sometimes, it always sounds like a trick, but this is a good one, it seems. News that Thompson attended the wedding of his gay son last weekend was first reported by Gawker. And then Thompson's press secretary told Gawker, Congressman and Mrs. Thompson were thrilled to attend and celebrate their son's marriage on Friday night as he began this new chapter in life. Well, and if his dad has his way, it'll be a short chapter.
Right, right. Oh, that's why they could be supportive. They're
It
going
won't
to
matter.
undo it anyway.
Whatever you
I
want.
see.
Yeah,
Sure. Oh, that's like going like, sure, kid, run away. But
yeah.
you packed toys. You didn't pack any underwear. You'll be right back.
It's like saying I'll give $1 million to everybody in the chat room. Am I going to win $1 billion? Stone added that the Thompsons are very happy to welcome their son-in-law into their family. Then said the bill was nothing more than an election year messaging stunt for Democrats in Congress who have failed to address historic inflation and out of control prices at gas pumps and grocery stores.
What does that mean?
So nothing, to be
Right.
clear. But what they're implying, so that you make up the rest in your head, is they're just saying, "Hey, look over here. We believe in gay rights." Well, all of us do. Can we not even worry about this bill or this codification? Can we just focus on the pain at the pump? Can we focus on inflation? And it's called a recession, but instead we're going to focus on this. I can do both. I can do both. I can respect gay marriage and believe there's something we could do about recessions.
In fact, I think gay marriage will help with the recession. Marriages, weddings are very, very expensive, and more
Right.
people getting married is more money.
What is wrong with people? All you have to do is you just put out half an answer, and then idiots will make up the rest in their head so that it makes some kind of sense, and then you tweet it out. And then a bot helps carry it along.
I think that's what
Right.
PR now is, right? Like, let's
Right.
put half a thought in people's head, and then they'll figure it out to know that they're on our side.
Why I see people writing about, Will Smith just made his. How long ago was that Oscar slap? Just put out a video apology. Have you seen this?
No, I didn't, because when I go to the article, they're very so many words.
There's so many words.
I'm
But
sorry. I know I sound like an ignorant asshole, but I go there and it's like the slap heard around the world a while ago, blah blah
Right.
blah, and it's been, and then they name people's credits and they talk about who their kids are.
And then there's a link. Other famous slaps include.
Right, right, and I'm just like, and I'm afraid to click along the way because they'll highlight Will Smith, so I can click on that. But does that waste my time and just go to who's Will Smith? How about just
Right.
show me the video? I think it's a video of him apologizing.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Okay.
But I see people responding to it. Will Smith needs to apologize to Jada. She's the real victim. I don't think he should have slapped him on stage, but I'm not mad at Will. I understand. Sounds like he's talked to him before about his attacks on Jada. Why are you making that up?
Right.
Why are you making it up? You can't make fun of someone's medical condition publicly in front of them and conveniently say that you didn't know when you were called out. She's been everywhere discussing. I know me and my friends couldn't stop talking about Jada and her alopecia. We just a bunch of little hens, me and Adam and Craig. We couldn't stop. Everybody knew it. This person writes, not getting what the big deal is. I got slapped for running my mouth the other day too.
Wow. If you think that's regular.
They aren't in and the avatar happens to be a woman for what that's worth. They aren't in a relationship or each other's boss. Enough flouncing. This is the most anyone's cared about the awards in years. So it's a blessing, if anything.
I have to believe that this comes from like movie culture, which I'm sure comes from like society at the time. But you remember when it was like normal in a movie? So I assume in real life, like a woman just slaps a man when he's out of line. She's had enough. And I could actually see doing that with some of the responses that people have. But it's not regular anymore. I don't think that you're gonna slap anybody and people are gonna be like, well, he had it come.
It makes me.
You know what? In some cases, I think he had it. Epstein, if he was on stage, somebody walks up, everybody be like, I guess Epstein got slapped. Who cares?
And what's he even doing on stage, this Epstein?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like this person's like, I got slapped. Well, I don't want to be a bitch. You know what? Sometimes people get slapped. It makes me think of, this is just popping in my head, Pamela Anderson saying, Harvey Weinstein didn't rape these women. These women just want attention. And I happen to know that Pamela Anderson was raped multiple times when she was young. I think she's saying that so that she doesn't have to look back at how horrible that was. Like, hey, things happen. It's Hollywood.
I could see that. I think that's how our parents sort of prepped us to go into the world. You have a great life. No one would complain about what you have. Why would you ever think that you were missing anything? And then when we go out in real life, like, I had a great childhood. What are you guys talking about? And then as we talk more and more, it's like, yes, we had a pretty decent childhood, but there was some fucked up shit. And I think if you decide that it's fucked up, then you have to like face who your parents are and what does that mean and what do you have to take care of. So I think you're right.
This so the video of Will Smith, it's already starts artistic.
So this is a produced thing? It wasn't like...
produced. No, it's produced. It's edited. There's multiple camera angles on him. You can tell that's when it's edited. And in fact, one time he fucks up. He tries to say tarnished. He says tarnished. He goes tarnished, and then he corrects it tarnished. And I know that he looked at that and went, keep that. It'll make it look more real. There's definitely cuts. He definitely has the answers. Supposedly it's answers that fans wrote in. And but he obviously picked the ones he wants to answer. It wasn't live. So you hear in the background him taking his chair, and then the words on screen say, "It's been a minute. ... Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. ...
This is just on the screen.
Just on the screen, and you hear him like rumbling around, like this is so live and important. You asked a lot of fair questions that I wanted to take some time to answer." He's going to take a seat now. He's ready. Big sigh.
He timed that perfect with the text.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, that's cool. He's breathing hard.
Does
he have COVID? Oh,
like, here we go. Does he have COVID?
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point.
I'll tell you what else bothers me. There's a picture in the background that says there's something like there's a lot of hate in this world. Love is the cure.
Don't tell me how to feel yet.
Right.
I'll just feel.
It's my fault. I didn't slap him.
Right.
It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back.
Okay. All right. I'm stopping already. How can it be fuzzy after all this time?
No, he's saying he was fuzzy during his acceptance speech, and that's why he didn't say sorry. He was fuzzy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now he had time to think about it, so this all makes sense. Okay.
Yes, but he's a good actor, so he's making it seem like this is off the dome. So he's like,
right.
He almost like his pauses almost say good question. Yeah, it was pretty fuzzy. That's good acting technique because you don't just answer a question. A regular human being would go, yeah, like that kind of thing.
It's like when I do stand-up. It's like, okay, here's an example. Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on, Will.
It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out.
I don't know how long it would take me to be ready to talk, because now it's work I have to do. So listen to his apology. Just to jump ahead, his apology is nothing, but I'll play it. Now I have to come and bring words to this. When I know you're not going to say nothing. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Jada didn't make me jump up and slap you. I just wanted to protect. I guess the jokes you've been saying over the years caught up to me. By that, I mean a total of 2. One year about Jada, which wasn't mean, and this one about alopecia, which probably wasn't about alopecia.
You also have to consider these two men are not necessarily friends. Just because you see 2 black dudes at the Oscar that are going to head nod each other because we know who they are, so they know who each other are. That doesn't mean they have each other over for dinner all the time. So this some actor calling me up to say like, hey, I want to apologize. Okay, I don't care right now. You're not my mother. You're not a close friend. We don't really talk. So I don't feel like talking to you after you slapped me. Right. That's fine.
So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did.
I know I respect mothers.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
Don't apologize to my mother.
I had one.
No, don't humble yourself at my mother's feet. That's not what's happening here.
Keep my mom's name out your fucking mouth.
And, you know, that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and, you know, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So,
well, you wanted to embarrass me at minimum in front of everybody that was there, thinking they'd cut to commercial. If you thought about it a little more, it embarrasses Chris Rock in front of everybody watching on TV. Yes, his mom might have been involved.
But I also, like, fuck you. Who's thinking about your mom? Who cares? I don't care. What, everyone has to apologize to my mom who has done me wrong? The fuck kind of bullshit is this? Because my mother had a comment about it? Relax. You slapped me. Also, what an acting job. I'm sorry, but you knew this is highly produced, so you knew the questions, you knew the answers. All these ums and are really bothering me, because what really is happening is, holy shit, Will Smith walked up to Chris while he was on stage at the Oscars and slapped him. I was a total piece of shit. I don't know what came over me, but I got to look into this. I've looked into this. I don't know if I'll find an answer, but I fucking hope I never respond like that to anything in my life. Obviously, something else is going on, because I never thought anything bad about Chris Rock. I don't think he said anything major, and I reacted, and that makes me a piece of shit, at least at the moment. And I hope that you don't think I'm a piece of shit for life because of this, although I understand if you do. The end.
Yeah.
The end. There's no millions of questions being fucking sifted through, a whole production, 3 camera angles. I just apologized for you. That's what you say when you slap someone.
Tell me if I'm wrong as we go. There's nothing in here that's honest. There's absolutely nothing in here that's deep. You know, I see a therapist. Sometimes they give those, time takes time. And I'm like, never thought of that.
Right.
There's not even something stupid like that in this thing. And so that you're all prepared, I think it's so that other people make shit up in their head, like, it was about alopecia, I know it, and fuck Chris Rock, so that people make things up. That's what I think.
Also, this is a perfectly good apology for most people. That's it, because we're not looking through it. We don't usually get apologies coming our way. We don't usually apologize. We don't usually make good. So sort of anything that gets thrown sounds so humbling to us, because we're not actually listening to this.
Right.
So I want to apologize to Chris's mother.
My mom has dementia and only talks in awkward laughter. I'd make him apologize to my mom. You have to be in a room for 15 minutes with her, and you keep apologizing until you think she gets it, you son of a bitch.
I'm so offended that he's apologizing to his mother. Yeah. I'm offended.
Right.
There, it's about me now. It's about me now, Will.
That's right.
I want to
well, he included us all.
Right.
Apologize to Chris's family. Specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship.
What? Are you
Tony
dropping
Rock
names?
Was my man.
Tony Rock went on stage and said, you come up here, I'll knock you the fuck out. Will Smith is saying, me and Tony used to be friends.
Okay.
And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment.
Okay, here we go.
And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that now.
Oh, that's what we're not trying to unpack.
What did you work on? It's been months.
The actual thing we want to know about. Let's not unpack that. Let's apologize to people's mothers.
It was videotaped. Rewatch it and think. What the fuck is there to unpack?
But I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment.
Well, how did you come to
There's
that?
no part of me.
Right.
So brilliant. Help us out.
Yeah.
That's the optimal way to handle.
And then he goes, I'm not sure why, but I've been told that. And eventually, you got to listen to people and believe them.
The thing is no, the slap is not the way to go. But what did you come to? You know, how did you figure that out? Because your career is being affected? Like, what, in watching the tape, were you fucking bolted to Chris, punched him while his hands were, slapped him while his hands were behind his back, and you're like, we don't have to unpack my actual feelings of it. I am apologizing. I did say the word mother. Wow.
Right.
People's words are so manipulative. And I think, like, from an actor, it's so perfect because you can get a shit ton of writers that make you look humble. How many shows and movies are we now watching where we're rooting for the killer? Because that's what a good script will do.
It's just odd that Will Smith
Why
said,
do we like Barry? He's a monster.
Right. It's odd that Will Smith says, and you got hit by the force of Muhammad Ali. And it's like, Will, what does that have to, come on.
Might as well drop more names. You have us.
A feeling of disrespect or insults.
Wait a minute, let me go back.
Yeah,
a little
what?
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
To handle a feeling of disrespect or insult.
Oh.
So you just took back the apology, if you
Yes,
ask
he
me.
did. Yes, he did.
I shouldn't do anything, even if I'm being disrespected. I already covered I love women, right? You guys know what that means, Jada. And even if there's insults, even if there's disrespect or insults, I still do. Even if the guy's Satan, I wouldn't stoop to his level. At least I shouldn't.
Wow.
We've all caved, but I can only look at me.
Right. I shouldn't have done what Chris did.
Right.
That's what he's saying. Chris did what he was doing. I shouldn't have responded the same way. I'm better than that.
Right.
But
I'm an
you're
Oscar
not.
winner.
But you're not. That's why you're here talking about this shit, because you're not.
Right way to behave in that moment.
What's the right way, man?
There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle
There is a part of you.
a feeling of disrespect or insults.
There is a part of you because you did it. Of course, there's a part of
and
you.
that's the end of that. Yeah. The
I
end
mean,
of
it
that
could-
segment. The end of that
Okay.
question.
It could have been surprising that there's a part of you in there, but there is a part of you in there that gets that angry and that responds like that. And we all saw it. What a bullshit. This is just one question.
Yeah.
Next.
One question. We're halfway done.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something?
Okay, I like
That's a
that
good
laugh.
question.
Okay, but you're saying it like a laugh, like, of course not. Of course Jada didn't tell. It's silly.
Right.
Or
Oh,
insults.
yeah. That, and I want you to play that question again
Yeah.
because that's manipulation for you gonna be stupid now.
Right.
That's it. That's what laughing through something that you practiced does.
And he picked a question. Let me tell you guys, I'll tell you a little behind the scenes that I do sometimes. I'll read hate mail that Keith and the girl gets and be like, can you believe this? Well, that's because I'm enjoying shitting on the hate mail. I didn't have to read it. It's not a law. I have to read all the mail. Yeah, this is what he picked that question so that he could laugh at it. There's only 3 fucking questions. He didn't have to put it. It's so ridiculous. He didn't have to say it.
But this is a good question. Let's see how he dodges it.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my...
But you didn't know, because acknowledge you were laughing at Chris Rock's joke. Which, by the way, you should be more disgusted because you just laughed because you're in the front row and you're a celebrity. Nothing Chris said was funny, period, that day. That guy didn't give a fuck.
I forgot that he laughed first.
He laughed, then she rolled her eyes. Then they don't show that he sees that, but that must have happened. Then he got up, and he was very angry.
And this is how he's rewriting history.
Yes. Oh. So that part affected you. Mention that. But it wasn't videotaped, so you don't have to mention that.
Oh, put it out. Somebody had a camera.
Right?
No, they don't. No, because it's like, I don't know.
I guess not, because remember, let's think of some more important tape we'd like to see. When Madonna kissed Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, they stopped at the Britney Spears part only because it was so shocking they wanted to cut to Justin Timberlake in the audience, and they missed it. The lesbianism kept going. If we can't find that footage... then there's no way for...
You know what, though? The Oscars doesn't have, the biggest budget. So you gotta miss things. I don't understand. You're the Oscars. You want to miss things? You already missed the kiss. You missed it.
Right.
Record everything. Cut to other things. I get it. But then have the footage.
Right.
From my own experiences, from my history with Chris.
What experiences?
Jada had nothing to do.
My history with Chris. So
Yeah, what
he's blaming
experiences?
Chris again.
What history with Chris? So are you already mad at Chris? It has nothing to do with Jada. This is such a pompous PR move. It's disgusting. And
On
you know,
my
I think
own-
we all used to like, well, this is like criticizing Oprah. This is like,
Right.
wait, am I still talking about Will Smith? Why? How are you making it worse? We were all in love with you.
Yeah.
From my own experiences, from my history with Chris, Jada had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but did Jada make you do this video? Because people keep asking her on Red Table Talk, when are you going to talk about it? No! I put up a love is the cure sign and decided to sit here and look like a dork.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, you know, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. You know, it happened on Questlove's award, and you know, it's
He should apologize to Questlove's mom.
Right.
That was a moment for her.
Isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down?
Well, to them, I'd like to say, what? They're just movies. What?
So there's two things. One,
Shout out to your mothers. Two,
disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down.
What is he calling? What is he calling this? He's calling letting people down his trauma.
yes, he's telling
He
you.
is traumatized by letting people down. I gotta go. I have to go. I have to go.
Your head explodes, and it's like, this is why we don't go live. This is, I wouldn't answer a question that stupid if it was a job interview and I was 22 years old and they said, what's your worst quality?
Listen, I think it's okay to ask, you've let people down. What do you have to say? Yeah, people don't think I behave this way. I didn't think I could behave this way. I did let you down. Hopefully, I won't let you down again, and we can let the rest of my history speak for itself, and this doesn't become a trend, which it's not. So what are you saying even?
So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma.
His central trauma.
I hate when I let people down.
I love it.
So it
Love it.
it hurts.
It's my fetish.
It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me.
Wow, that sounds traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
The work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself.
It's okay to be ashamed. You can be ashamed.
Yeah.
You can be.
You have all the feelings. People, like, we put these things, these negative things on feelings. I don't want you to feel sad. I don't want you to feel, angry. I don't want you. No, feel all those things. Feel ashamed for a moment for the right things, and then fix it.
We all agree I shouldn't be embarrassed. I should just
By anything.
recognize.
Right.
I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of my.
I hate that so much.
Me too, me too, me too, me too. He's
First of
giving
all-
us the words. Hey, dude, he's human. He
Yeah.
made a mistake. No.
If you're new to Keith and the Girl, I want you to know, apparently I've never made a mistake. Because, well, anytime you hear about these people, R. Kelly made a mistake. Anytime you hear about these people making mistakes, what I did wasn't even close.
You know what? It is kind of like, somebody cheats on you and they're like, I made a mistake. No, you made a decision. There's always a
Right.
moment where you could stop. And if your brain is overtaking and you slapped someone, you need a timeout. There's something going on. Don't blame me. He's going to mention God. I just know he is. And it's going to piss me off. It's coming. I know.
He's blessing us right now through the screen.
Right.
North, south, east, west.
Myself as a piece of shit.
Oh.
So I would say to those people,
So that he doesn't. He doesn't.
and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit.
But you can. But you can for a minute.
So I would say to those people, I know.
Don't do like my dad talked to me. He'd say, you're an idiot. And I'd be like, what? I'd act offended. Like, what? And he'd go, I said your actions are that of an idiotic person. So, yeah, okay, you're not a piece of shit. But you had a moment that of a piece of shit.
I agree. It doesn't make you an entire piece of shit, but that was a piece of shit moment. And there's a reason why you don't want to repeat it again, because if you keep repeating it, you are a piece of shit.
It was confusing. I know it was shocking.
Again,
But
stop telling
I-
us how we feel.
Right.
I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And,
He did the slap. He's making me feel inadequate.
Are you trying to put light and love into the world, Keith?
I guess not. It sounds like a lot of words for the same thing, but he's making me feel bad.
if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
Who? Me?
The end. Us and him. If we give him another chance, we can all be friends again.
Well,
That we will be friends with him again. We will
That just-
accept him back. He's telling us we will. You'll
Sure,
see.
but
because
then that
of his
means-
light and love and care and share.
does that mean I get slapped after we're friends?
It means his new movie Emancipation is coming out in December.
Oh.
It's about an enslaved man that finds freedom through the swamps of Louisiana and then joins the Union Army. So you can check that out in a couple months.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's the film star and also producer.
He'll be fine. The movie will do great. By the way,
Meanwhile-
speaking of movies,
Yes.
do you know that there's a new movie out on Netflix, The Gray Man or something like that?
Yes.
And it's like the most. Did we already talk about this? Holy shit!
I think we talked about it with Rod on either his show or the spin-off show that he does with us. And he says how good it is. And I'm like, you're fucking with me deliberately.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Rod.
Right.
Well, this is the most money Netflix has ever spent, and it's an action movie, which I don't know. I don't know that we knew that it would be so actiony. I believe that they spent their budget on literally going to every city they mentioned. So
Yes.
if they were like, and back in China, they were not on a Hollywood set, because the only thing they spent money on, because even the fighting wasn't that great. There was that jiggly camera shit that you talk about.
Right.
And, I get it. There's impossible moves, like you're holding on to an airplane while it's like vacuuming you out, but you have the strength to, sure. But there was no plot. It went from fight scene to fight scene. And I know that sounds exciting to some people, but, and I know I'm not an action person movie, but I can appreciate a plot. It was, and now they fight in DC, and now they fight in Hong Kong, and now they fight in Canada. And I think they actually flew everyone first class, and that's how they spent that budget, because it certainly wasn't on editing. That movie was over 2 hours.
Number 6 is number 4, 5 is 3, and here's your change. And I'm like, all right, I guess so. Chris Rock didn't put out a message like this because he's more of a normal person, but he is doing his stand-up tour. And he is saying stuff, and I think he's saying stuff because he's done some stand-up shows with Chappelle Chappelle's been like a surprise guest, and Chappelle ends up talking about it. And I think Chris Rock is now like, well, now I got to talk about it. I was waiting for a $1 billion offer. God damn it. He says, everybody's trying to be a fucking victim, says Chris Rock. I'm not a victim. By the way.
Okay.
Okay, you were. I saw it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I didn't say you're a bitch. I said you're a victim.
Right.
I had a roommate that got beaten up by another roommate. They got drunk. One beat the shit out of him, and cops had to come. It was the other room. It was the roommate that did the beating that was 6 million percent in the wrong. And so Ray, the roommate who got hit, is thinking, okay, what do I do? This is crazy. Cops had to be involved. Fuck this guy. Then a letter comes in the mail like, so you were a victim. Here's what you need to do. And he goes, nope. It's over. I am not a victim.
Damn.
Like, all right. You got smacked around a little bit, but all right. If everybody claims to be a victim, then nobody will hear the real victims, he says. Even me getting smacked by Suge Smith. I went to work the next day. I got kids. Anyone who says words hurt have never been punched in the face. And then he goes into some cancel culture stuff, which I hope isn't going to be the same as we've been hearing from other people, but who knows. I'm not a victim, motherfucker. I don't go to the hospital for a paper cut.
Damn. You don't have to go to the hospital to be a victim. My God. Words, people.
He also says at some point, I'm okay. I got most of my hearing back. So I guess that's just a joke then, right? I don't know. People expect me to talk about this bullshit. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll get to it eventually on Netflix, he said with a laugh, inferring a payday.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, but what are you going to talk about? You're not a victim of anything. What is there to talk about?
He'll be prepared. Will was prepared. I bet you Chris Rock's will be better.
No, I'm sure it will. But what are you if you're not a victim of literally a crime that happened in front of people? Like you said, it's we're not calling it's victim, not bitch. I do think people hear it like you got robbed at gunpoint, 2 guns on you, and
I felt like a sucker. Yeah.
Right. But were you a victim?
Don't make me say it. Everybody gets the point you're making.
You're a victim of a robbery.
Of course.
You're a bitch of a robbery. No.
Well, Rage Against the Machine's guitarist Tom Morello was accidentally tackled by a security guard pursuing a fan who jumped on stage during a band's concert in Canada.
Oops, I missed.
A fan jumped on stage. The security guard got confused who was who and attacked the guitarist.
That's why you got to wear your laminate,
Right.
You got to wear your backstage pass all the time.
Even if you're holding the guitar and there's pictures of your face on everybody's shirt.
Yep. Doesn't matter. White guys look like white guys.
He's 58. He even fell off the stage as a result of the direct hit.
Was he a victim? How much pain do you have to be in to be a victim?
The unruly fan can be seen running up one side of the stage as a security guard chases him.
No.
And then gets the wrong guy.
That's awful. But
you're fired, right? As a security guard, like you got to know who's in the band.
Yeah,
I had to know. I had to know to work at BB King's Barbecue. But I had to know what restaurant owned that and who the CEO of that place was. You got to know who the guitarist is.
For big arena shows, yeah. I remember when I was on tour for a singer, we did have to wear our laminates to go backstage because we're not famous. Right. They got to know who's who. But once you're on stage, I think you can pick.
Right. Here's a story. R. Kelly's former manager was convicted Friday of calling in an active shooter threat to a private Manhattan club that was scheduled to hold a screening of Surviving R. Kelly back in 2018.
So they pulled the fire alarm to get people out?
Donnell Russell faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. He'll be sentenced on November 21st. First of all, this is what? August 1st. When they go, do you have any questions? And he's like, yeah, what'd I do again? It's November. What?
What exactly happened?
He used his home phone in Chicago to call this place in New York to tell a worker that somebody in the crowd had a gun and was going to shoot up the place. So they had everybody leave. And it was his way of stopping this screening and the follow-up Q&As from the victims of R. Kelly. Or from the women R. Kelly knew that were sex trafficked. I don't mean to throw that word.
They're not victim of, they had an experience that they don't want to repeat ever because it was the worst.
Right. The club was holding a screening of the documentary as well as a panel discussion with the V word of Kelly.
I hope that does turn into the V word. We're not allowed to say victim anymore.
They're having a screening. What can we do to stop it? I'll take care of it, Art.
Oh my God. Soon we're going to have every letter being a word that we're going to have the A word, the B word, the C word, the D word. I mean, I'm sure you could fill it in already. Now the V word is for victim. I don't want YouTube to be upset at me.
Right.
Victim.
Let's be able to say vagina. And Philippines Congressional Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. wants to declare that ghosting, which is suddenly ending a relationship without explanation, is emotional abuse.
Okay, pushing it.
Teves represents this district and blah, blah, blah. He says it develops feelings of rejection and neglect.
I'm sure it does. Absolutely.
And he also says that paying for the full meal and not getting sex should be a thing, too. I added that. Stop. I don't want to be ridiculous. But ghosting should be a national law in the Philippines.
No fucking way.
Well, it sounds like someone had a bad day. Coincidence. He's single. Coincidence.
But you know what? People are getting ghosted left and right. You know, nice people, mean people. It's just, it didn't go. I don't have to explain things to you. You have to manage your emotions about that. Unless you want to come up here and slap me and then have months of explaining to do.
I've been accused of ghosting, and I'm like, no, it was clear we ended it. It's like, well, it doesn't sound like we're talking like we're friends. And I'm like, what? Goodbye. It was 2 dates. Goodbye. It's a law, and you're not embarrassed. Oh, my God. I hope they bring that up when it comes time for re-election. How's dating going? Let's talk about that. They point to the enemy.
Ghosting him during elections.
Hey, speaking of movies, Chemda, tell people about silent trailers and tell people about the production meeting.
Okay, well, silent trailers was developed because I don't know movies and I don't know any actors. And so what I do is I watch a movie trailer on silent and describe it to people. And I describe it so good, even though I don't know any actors' names, that people can compete for points. That's right, everybody.
She discusses it so good that it became a game, right?
Like, for example, let me see if I could think of, a person that we love very much who's in a lot of action movies.
Will Smith.
Correct.
All right. Look at that.
How about this one? The Apples guy's best friend's wife.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
No. The Apples guy.
Oh, J-Lo.
That's right.
All right. That easy, guys.
Thank you.
Use your noggins.
Now, next week is silent trailers. This week is the production meeting where we come up with categories, stuff like legalize it, but it doesn't mean, movies that have weed in them. It means movies that have sex work in them, things like that. So we come up with all these categories. Keith always tries to sneak in via like, I'm Keith's father. And then we talked to Keith's father for a few minutes.
My sister tried to make it last time. Yep. Guy in suit came. I don't know how they figure out it's me. It was only neck down. It was
Your
a nice
cable
suit.
guy came in one time.
Cable guy was in.
Kyle.
My girlfriend was in. They figured out it was really me. Oh, my goodness.
And we have a lot of fun. So if you want to be part of the production meeting, it's open to everyone. You don't have to have any ideas or come up with anything. You could just sit back and watch us go through everything. It's a lot of fun. And the tickets will be up this week by Wednesday. We're a little bit later than usual because of COVID, but this Saturday is the production meeting. And next Saturday, the 13th, is the actual show. VIPs, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. You get discounts and a free ticket and all of that stuff. Make sure that you're a VIP, keithandthegirl.com/VIP.
There you have it. Thanks for spreading the show. We see you guys are doing it. We appreciate it very much. Be sure, of course, now you know we're not joking. Click that bell on YouTube, and we'll go live again. We'll talk to you soon.